I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, August 20th. That was Brent Cadrew and Troop 261, and Brent will be back up in a little bit. We have a presentation for Brent tonight. Call the roll, please.
Cedar,
Here.
Ellery,
Here.
Kinsfater,
Here.
Kleeman,
Here.
Koopa, Laporte,
Here.
McCartney.
Here. Motion to excuse member Kufa.
I'd support your motion.
All right, motion's made. Support. Any questions?
Thank
All in
you.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4, consent agenda A, City Council minutes of August 6, 2018. Regular meeting, recommendation approved. B is the St. Clair Historical Commission minutes of July 12, 2018 meeting, recommendation received, and the Cemetery Board of Trustees minutes of July 10th, 2018 meeting, recommendation received.
Motion to approve A through C as presented, Your Honor.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a very special presentation tonight. Brent Cadrew is here with us. He is from Troop 261, and he has completed his Eagle Scout project. And I have a presentation for Brent, so I'm going to have you come up and get your presentation, then he has a speech for us. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Brent Cadrew. I'm a scout from St. Clair Troop 261. My adventures in scouting began in 3rd grade, and it has definitely been a long and rewarding experience. To achieve the rank of Eagle, which is the highest rank in scouting, a scout must live by the Scout Oath and Law on a daily basis, earn 21 merit badges, serve a minimum of 16 months in a leadership position, camp for a minimum of 24 nights, participate in 7 Scout Master Reviews, and Board Reviews. But most importantly, he must propose, plan, and carry out an Eagle Scout project. According to the Boy Scouts of America, the purpose of an Eagle Scout project is to benefit a religious institution, a school, or your community. After hiking through the nature trail of Gregg Park, I realized that the benches hike needed to be replaced. They were difficult, if not impossible, for people who were older or with limited mobility to use. I felt that the new benches should be at a height suggested by the American with Disabilities Act, which would benefit all who visited the trail. I also wanted these benches to be able to withstand our climate and last at least 15 years. So I made them out of composite board. I shared my ideas with Ms. Hawkins, and at the Recreation Department submitted my written proposal and received their approval. This project took 11 people and 182 hours to complete from start to finish. This also included planning, typing, and preparing of the proposal, as well as getting all the necessary pre-approval signatures in order to begin buying materials, start construction, and finally installing the benches, which were completed on July 14th, 2018. So in closing, I'd like to personally thank Ms. Hawkins, back there, and the City of St. Clair for allowing me to get the opportunity of finally achieving this final step in my journey to Eagle.
Good job.
Your Honor, I have the pleasure of serving as a council rep for the Recreation Committee, and when Brent made that presentation of trees, and Trees brought that on to the Rec Committee, just wanted to let him know that we're very proud of you, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, the bench looks great, and thank you for your work. Thanks, you guys. And you did a great job up there, man. All right. We'll go to number 6, reports of administration. Mr. Booth.
Your Honor, I have 2 things this evening. I'd like to start by talking a little bit about our pension plan. I've been working on a waiver request with the state of Michigan for the city's underfunded pension plan. The basis of the waiver request hinges on both prior changes to the city's pension plan as well as pending. At our next meeting, I plan to ask for approval on additional changes to the city's pension for administrative employees. At 12/31/2017, our overall pension funding level is 57%. If the waiver is not granted by the state, we will be required to submit a corrective action plan. This likely would lead to additional plan changes and/or contributions. And I know we've spoken about it during budgets. I just wanted to make sure you're aware of what's coming. And if you have any questions, I can bring additional information or meet with you one-on-one, however you'd like to handle that. Second item, City Hall will be closed for Labor Day on Monday, September 3rd. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any questions from Mr. Booth or anything?
I got a couple, Bill. The wood pile at Clutcher Park,
Still there?
it's still there.
I'll
And,
personally make sure it's gone.
pardon me?
I will get over there and make sure it's gone.
And crack ceiling, are we crack sealing yet?
We have not, we will be,
Are we gonna get out there soon? It's almost September.
before the leaves.
Anything else? All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did. So, what is flags up at Clutcher Park? There's something for construction. Is there a gas line or something come through there?
Teresa's here from
We're
Rec.
planting some trees along Goff Street as part of the DNR tree grant.
Thank
And
you.
that's what the flags are here at City Hall too, we're planting some trees in the back parking lot area.
So Teresa, how many will be planted when we're done?
22
Okay.
trees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Mr. Downing, City Attorney.
Your Honor, I have one item. At the July 16 regular meeting, there was an issue that was brought before City Council, at which time a legal opinion was sought. And it concerned a matter of a rezoning that had been considered by the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission unanimously voted to reject the proposed rezoning. So that question came before City Council for affirmation, but there was no vote taken pending my review of the matter. And the question specifically concerned the idea that this was going to be a spot zoning. And for those who aren't familiar with the term, a spot zoning is the use of a smaller parcel of land that's inconsistent with a larger zoned area. And the applicant had sought to have his parcel rezoned inconsistent with the larger zone of which he was a part. And Mr. Skirdo, and I think this is what brought the request for a legal opinion on, Mr. Skirdo had indicated that that spot zoning is frowned upon, and it was something that could get the city into litigation should either the Planning Commission or the City Council thereafter approve the spot zoning. And I just want to confirm that that explanation by Mr. Skirdo to the Planning Commission was correct. Although spot zoning is not illegal, it is something that's frowned on, and it faces a heightened level of scrutiny by courts who are asked to review whether a spot zoning was properly granted. I guess to conclude, the remarks made by Mr. Skirdo of the Planning Commission were accurate, and I think that the information on which the Planning Commission based its negative vote were well placed. And I maybe defer to Councilmember Laporte if there's anything I'm missing with respect to Mr. Skirdo's recommendation. But I think that's the gist of it.
Pretty much sums it up.
All right. So we'll bring that to this body on September 4th then for our formal vote on the application for the rezoning. That, all right.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Any city departments tonight? All right. D is authorities, boards, commissions, committees, council reps. All right. No unfinished business. Let's go to 8, new business. Special events permit, St. Clair Chamber of Commerce parking lot party. Chief?
Hello. I have received a request from the chamber to have this party at Neiman's parking lot. Everything is in order, and I recommend approving it.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? B, special event, St. Peter's Evangelical Lutheran Church Oktoberfest.
St. Peter sent me a request for their annual Oktoberfest, and everything is in order. And again, I recommend you approve it. It's for October 13th.
I make a
And
motion
12.
we approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief. Going to B, approved preliminary site plan for St. Clair Inn West Side.
Yes, Your Honor, the planning commission met, they met all our criteria, and I recommend a motion to approve.
I'll support your motion.
All right, the motion's made, supported. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. C, accept bid from Murray Underground Systems Incorporated for 2018 HMA pavement reconstruction. Mr. Booth.
Okay, enclosed in your council packets is a recommendation made by Anderson Eckstein Westrick to award Murray Underground Systems for reconstruction of Henry, Thornapple, and section of 11th Street, which will be taken just south of Cedar. The project amount is $958,274.50. 3 bids were received. The other 2 were from ML Chartier and Body Construction. Ask for council's approval toward this project. The funding will be done via the local street fund, with any shortages covered via transfer from the general fund.
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, the motion made, supported. Questions?
I got
You only-
one.
Go ahead, Bill.
I'm just wondering why we're not using millage money.
We are.
Well, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, so what'll happen is, these are local streets, so they're funded by the local street fund, which is Fund 203. And the part of that tax capture goes to the local streets, the remaining balance of it goes to the major streets. So if we, after all the revenues are received in, if we have any shortages, we do have some additional funds in the general fund, we'll transfer
How much did the millage take in this year?
just about $500,000. And that's total, not just local.
Anybody else?
I just, and you might be able to point it to me somewhere, but where did the bid come in relation to the SD engineer's estimates for this, for repairs? Do we ever track and tally that? I don't.
It was $1,050,000.
$1,050,000 for.
Okay,
for this
so we're
one.
below what he said. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, call the roll, please.
McCartney?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
Thank you. D, accept bid from Murray Underground for 3rd Street reconstruction project. Mr. Booth.
Your Honor, enclosed in your council packets is a recommendation made by Rowe Professional Services to Murray Underground Systems for the reconstruction of 3rd Street. That'll be between Brown and Vine. Project amount is $402,527. Again, 3 bids were received. The other 2 were from James P. Contracting and Pamar. I ask for council's approval toward this project. Funding will be done via local street fund, with, again, shortages being covered by the general fund. We are coming into the end of the year, so anything that goes past September 30 will be funded with next year's funds. So that could be good.
Motion we approve.
I'd support.
And again, this is covered with partially by a scrap tire grant of $141,279. So the net project cost will be $261,248.
All right, the motion's made and supported. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Good job, Mr. Booth. Let's get some roads fixed. 9 claims and accounts, August 9 and 16th.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Number 10 is public comment or public questions. Anybody have anything for the good of the group tonight? Just give us your name and address, please.
Paulette Campbell, 804 Clinton Avenue, St. Clair, Michigan. I'm talking about the barber shop that is proposed to go in across the street from us on 8th Street. There are a lot of, I have the zoning ordinances. I've talked to Mr. Bullier. Mr. Bullier told me to read between the lines of the ordinances. And I'm sitting there. No, don't tell me to read between the lines. There is no between the lines. An ordinance is an ordinance here in the city. I don't care what city you live in. So I have a lot of questions. I notice we're not on the agenda tonight. There's a lot going on across the street. There's a lot of ordinances that aren't being followed. Now, the ordinance, a simple ordinance about the signage, and the signage is, I don't even know what ordinance it is on here. I don't want to take up my 3 minutes with that. But the signage is a small sign inside your window. He has already put up a barber pole that lights up and lights up the street. Now, the barber pole is outside his address. We don't know who's living there. We know who's on the mortgage, Mr. Rude and his son, Evan Rude. We know that. He's on the mortgage. They don't live there. They don't reside there. They're supposed to be evicting the renters on the top floor. Well, they're still there. You know, as of today, they're still there. And they are not in possession of residing there. You have another ordinance that says they can only have 25%. This is for home business, home occupations. They can only have 25% of the gross square footage of the first floor or whatever floor they're running their business on. Now, I can tell you right now, we can see that they have more than 25% of that first floor for their business. We know that. We've come to previous meetings requesting that you study the traffic congestion. And that's another ordinance. They cannot block traffic. They have a parking ordinance that they have to follow. That's not going to be followed because if you have Mr. Rude or his son Evan, that's already a couple of spaces being taken. They only have the 4 spaces out there and then a gravel space. If you want to count a gravel space as a parking space, fine. Now, they have done the space for the handicap, for the American with Disabilities Act. They have done that. I don't know if they're following that precisely or not. And it says you cannot, your ordinance says you cannot make the front of your home any different than a home out there. It is. It's not what it was out there. It has a business. If you put a business sign out there, it's not following your ordinance from the city. Our ordinance as a city resident, it is not following that. There's a sign for a business out there. Now, we live on the corner. We live next door to Silks, and we live across the kitty corner from Meredith Tax, okay? Now, those are businesses. They've been there. They are not homes. They are businesses. That's where they put them. He is not. There's a lot of things that is not, a lot of your ordinances are not being followed here. Who follows this? I don't care if Mr. Bullier told me to read between the lines. I can't read between the lines. He treated me like I was not an intelligent person on the phone. I worked for this Warren Consolidated Schools. I worked with Mayor Fouts in the city of Warren. He was at our house when we had a flood there, and we won a lawsuit against them. It's not like I'm a stupid person. Don't treat me like a stupid, unintelligent person because I'm a female on the phone. I was highly insulted that day when I talked to him on the phone. I know what I'm talking about. You have ordinances here. Who's following them? That is my question. My next statement is, and I know I've gone past my 3 minutes, but my next statement is thank you, Mayor Cedar, for making sure that we had prompt repair of 8th Street in Clinton for the hole out there, from the water main break. Whoever did it, thank you so much. They were there the next day. Your workers were very, and we complimented them. They couldn't have been better. They broke their butts that day fixing that road. They were there, and it was a hot day in the 90s. They were there all day, and they worked, and they have fixed that hole out there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Any other public comment tonight? All right, let's go to number 11 then. I'm sorry. Ms. Boda, I'm sorry. Snuck up on me.
Mary Bodas, 1170 South 12th Street. I believe I'm speaking on behalf of all the election inspectors in the St. Clair City. We have the best city clerk, and that does so much work before election, behind the scenes, has training for all of us, and election day she works many, many hours. Annette is always smiling and ready to help with any problem, little or big. She is always stressing elections are very important. We believe she deserves lots of compassion and especially a big bonus. Thank you, Annette. We appreciate you.
Did Annette write that?
And the flowers in the park along Clinton are beautiful. Thank you, Annette. You're wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Boda. Yeah, good job, Annette. Don't take all that to heart, but good job. I mean, the one part, yeah. But, all right, anybody else? Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Rosentrader, 609 South 8th Street, and this is mostly for you, Mr. Attorney. In regards to 602 South 8th Street, now, the answer that we've continuously gotten from Mr. Bullier is that our homeowner is considering home occupation, and that refers to the ordinances that she was reading off. Have you seen the work that's been done on that house?
I have not.
Okay. It's way past home occupation if we go by those ordinances. So is it resting on your guys' recommendation, and then the master plan would have to be redone to allow him that spot variance? Is that kind of what I'm understanding?
The matter is going to be brought back in front of City Council to act on the recommendation of the Planning Commission to deny the spot zoning. And I understand that'll happen at the September 4th meeting. And once the City Council acts, then I guess the applicant will know in what direction he's got to go.
Okay.
And if there's been any action taken that's inconsistent with his permitting, then that'll have to be addressed as well.
Okay, and I think that's the concern that we all have as we see this work going on, but from everything that we've heard, it might not happen if we go by the ordinances that are established right now. So why does the work continue to be allowed to proceed when we don't even know if the barber shop's gonna go in there? Because what's gonna happen with all this work if it doesn't get approved?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be fixed. I mean, I take your word that the work's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that it's been permitted. I'm certain it hasn't, because there hasn't been any action taken by City Council.
The only permit was to replace the windows, and let me tell you, that's a beautiful sight at night when, he's got, I think, a 4x6 window on one side and a 6x8 on the other, and it's full fluorescent lights lighting up the whole intersection, and you can see right in there, so it fits right in with the neighborhood look, let me tell you. But yeah, I think that's just what we're concerned about, is which way this is going, and it seems like it's being unfettered, so to speak, and, so, Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else? All right, then we will go to number 11. The mayor, council, and media. I guess I would just say that our next meeting will be September 4th. That's a Tuesday, Labor Day. We don't meet on Labor Day. Trash that week will be on Friday. Right? Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I just want to thank the Cedar family and all the people that participated in the lighted boat parade this year. I think they did an excellent job, and it was pretty neat to see. And I guess with that, the Jazz Festival too, I think
Jazz Festival.
the organizers of that did a great job too, so.
It was a good day.
kudos.
Anybody else? All right, then we'll go to number 12. I'm going to ask for a motion to go into closed session to discuss strategy connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement with the employees represented by the Police Officers Labor Council, POLC.
I'll make the
moved.
motion. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So moved.
Support.
All right, call the roll, please.
Kinsfater,
Yes.
Yes.
Seaman, Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney,
Yes.
Ellery,
Yes.
Cedar. Cedar,
Yes, I'm sorry.
carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We're going to go in there and talk about this contract. When we come out, we won't take any action, but you're certainly more than welcome to hang around, enjoy the ambience, talk to people, and get to know people, but we're not going to vote on anything when we come back out other than to adjourn. So thank you for coming. Good job, Brent. Troop 261, thank you. Mr. Bowles.